Hello everyone, welcome to This Day. It is Saturday, July 22nd. I'm Michael Taylor. On the show today, we got a good one. We have Dr. Bruce Tamlin who's going to be talking to us about insomnia. He's from Providence Mission Hospital. And then, have you ever seen skis on a walker? Well, we have some gadgets and gizmos from the Adapt to It. They're going to be joining us a little later in the program as well. Hey, we want to talk to you a little bit about Stay Informed. A Video Club has a great thing coming up. It's going to be our Pulitzer Prize winning news photographer John Cornell is going to be presenting Eyes on History. And that's going to be Thursday, July 27th at 7 p.m. They're going to be doing a Q&A. You're going to see some amazing images, some amazing photographs from over the years of his coverage of the news of presidents and world events. So make sure you get out for that one. That should be pretty fun. As we look at the weather, we take a look outside. It is going to be warm. It's going to be nice this weekend, so get out there and enjoy it. 82 and 83. And then on Monday, we really start warming up, and that's going to be a trend we see for the rest of the week. It's going to be a very warm week, so make sure you get out there and enjoy the sun and the nice weather this weekend. Sunrise, sunset. We have a great image from Alan Clark at Via Los Altos. Alan is our #1 photographer here in the village. He sends us pictures all the time. So make sure you guys get out there and send us some pictures too. We see the sunrise, sunset. How can you do that? Well, we have a way to do that. You send us photos and we will put them on the air just like we do for Alan Clark. Laguna Woods Village TV at gmail.com is the email address to send us those images. You put your name in there, make sure we can announce it, where you took the picture, and of course, take it horizontally so we make sure that we can see it and put it on the screen just like that. All right, folks, when we come back, we're going to be talking to Dr. Tamlin about insomnia and some of the ways we can fight it. Stay with us.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
Our next guest is Dr. Bruce Tamlin from Providence Mission Hospital. Dr. Bruce, thank you for joining us today.
Yep, you're welcome.
So we're going to talk a little bit about insomnia and what kind of makes you an expert. What's your background in insomnia and sleep disorders in general?
Oh, I became interested when I was in training in pulmonary like 40 years ago, and I came out to UC Irvine because they had one of the first sleep centers in America. At that time, it wasn't a specialty. And now, of course, everyone knows about sleep medicine and the problems with sleep. It's becoming more and more important every year.
Okay. So specifically, as we talk about insomnia, what are some of the telltale signs we might know? What is insomnia and how is it different than I just have trouble falling asleep?
Well, probably more than half of us have had insomnia at some time in our life, but it usually resolves on itself. Different kinds of insomnia include initiating sleep, trouble falling asleep, or maintaining sleep, staying asleep, and then both. Many patients have both. If it lasts for more than 3 months, then it's regarded as chronic insomnia, which affects about 10% of us.
Okay. And so if, let's say I'm worried about something, I'm worrying myself and I'm up late at nights, that's not really something in terms of insomnia. So what are some of the things that we look for in terms of symptoms?
So some of the patients are sleepy all day long because they can't get the at least minimum of 6 hours of sleep. Some people are cranky and irritable. They're not themselves. Some people don't recognize that they have insomnia. And when we do sleep studies on patients, we can see that they are having arousals and periods of wakefulness all night long that they don't even perceive. So daytime fatigue is related to that, less energy. It's one of the causes of fatigue that maybe doctors forget to ask about. Car wrecks, even people with insomnia can be as sleepy as someone with narcolepsy. and they can have sleep attacks during the day, so that it can be quite serious. And of course, the more you worry about it, the worse you get.
Hmm. Now, with so much technology and people looking at their phones at night and maybe having overstimulated, are those some of the things that you would be watching for if a patient comes to you and says, "Hey, I think I'm having some sleeping issues"?
Those the Apple Watches and the other devices are so helpful nowadays, and it, at the very least, it identifies someone who's interested in their sleep and their sleep quality, which again is becoming more and more important. They aren't completely accurate, but on the other hand, they're better than nothing. They can't really determine sleep stages, but they can determine how long a person is asleep and how disturbed their sleep is. So they're very helpful to us.
It can also sometimes be that people just aren't practicing good sleep habits in that case. And like when you're ruling these things out, when you look at these things, are people just like they're staying up too late, they're drinking caffeine at night, things like that? Or that's some of the challenges that you have in identifying insomnia versus other factors?
And people often ask, do I need a sleep test to determine my insomnia? But really, visiting with either me or a nurse practitioner who's very experienced in sleep medicine is often good enough. And you can determine whether the patient is practicing what we call good sleep hygiene, which includes going to bed at the same time every night, waking up same time every morning, even on weekends,
Hmm.
and using a sleep environment that's receptive to sleep. That is, no lights, no electronic devices. It's been shown, there was one study where they were actually able to awaken blind people by shining lights on their skin. So that
Really?
we're very sensitive to light, and we don't realize that. So there are other practices that are very helpful, and they fall into the category of sleep hygiene.
Okay. Now, if I'm having these kind of challenges and I'm doing this, what is the test? I guess since you say there's no real test, what is it that I'm going to help you determine this person has insomnia? What are some of the key identifiers in there?
Well, a discussion with the patient, a sleep diary is very helpful. We usually have the patient keep about a 2-week diary of when they wake up, when they go to sleep, when they have problems at night. That's part of a medical history. There's a scale called the Epworth Sleepiness Scale, which is a 24 point survey that determines whether somebody is dangerously sleepy. Normal is less than 10. A narcoleptic might be 20, 24, but people with insomnia have significant sleep during the day as well. We review the medicines. There are some medications that even the regular PCPs and internists don't know about that can cause sleep disturbances. For example, the beta blockers like propranolol, metoprolol, toprol, they can cause not only disrupted sleep, but bad dreams. So often we have a patient, with the permission of their doc, to switch it to the morning rather than the evening. A lot of the mood medicines, basically, there are two categories: mood medicines that make you chill, relax you, and mood medicines that give you energy. Sometimes we find a patient is on a mood medicine that gives them energy that they're taking at night. And so we ask their doctor if it's acceptable to move it to the daytime. There are medical issues too. Some of the medical issues include gastroesophageal reflux, so where they have heartburn that wakes them up, hidden asthma, asthmatics that don't think, they say they quote outgrew their asthma, but at nighttime they wheeze. And in those cases, that's a good time to do a in-facility sleep study, which
Okay.
is really remarkably insightful.
So
Also, leg
there could be some other hidden or other unknown medical issues that are now causing the insomnia on top of whatever that, like you said, the sleep apnea or the asthma and things like that.
correct. So we weed them out during the interview with the patient and determine whether they need a sleep study. If we're concerned about the periodic limb movements, which go along with restless leg syndrome, we can do a sleep study. When you do a sleep study in the facility, patients usually only change positions maybe 3 to 5 times. Some of the patients flip around 12 times, 10, 12, 15 times. And in those patients, we're concerned about those disorders that I mentioned, and also the musculoskeletal stuff, the back pain patients,
Hmm.
the fibromyalgia patients. and so forth. And if we can help them find the right doc or help them get better, treat their symptoms, then they sleep much better. So insomnia may be associated with medical issues.
Okay. Now we talked about some of the short-term things you might notice. What are there long-term impacts, like in terms of sleep deprivation, that can impact your brain and your overall health?
Oh, definitely, definitely, and it can affect you over time, and it's a significant health risk, including cardiac disease, including stroke. There's many things that are associated with insomnia if left untreated. If you can treat the insomnia, identify it, and treat it early, then you have more of a likelihood of correcting it. If it's been established for 2 years or more, it's very difficult to treat, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't try, because again, there may have been overlooked issues that someone else hadn't thought of.
Mhm. Now, can a lot of our viewers obviously are retired, and can there be age-related insomnia? Is that something that can happen to you as you get older, have more trouble sleeping in general, and things like that? Is that something you see in a higher age group?
As you get older, you're more likely to have insomnia, but also you're more likely to have medical issues. You're more likely to have time on your hands, and you watch the news every night and you worry about that sort of thing. In general, as you get older, worries don't increase, but they decrease, because you've learned in life that it doesn't really make any difference how much you worry. But having said that, there are a lot of factors in people's lives. So the two biggest groups are the quote elderly and also women. Women seem to have it more than men. Part of it's related to menopause, but part of it is just genetic. They can have insomnia that runs in families. I always ask if there's a family member, and it's typically the mother who had insomnia, and you see it through generations. So they've identified a gene for insomnia, and so far they can't fix it. But someday, probably not too far away, they'll be able to fix that gene as well.
Okay. You talked about some of the other things, don't use electronics, get into a regular sleep pattern. What about things I can prevent in terms of alcohol use, smoking? Are there some other things we're doing to ourselves that are setting ourselves up for these challenges?
Yeah, and the misconception is that alcohol helps you sleep, and it does help you fall asleep. But typically, the patients wake up around 2, 3, 4 a.m., and it's a mini alcohol withdrawal. So if you must drink alcohol, it should be earlier maybe in the late afternoon, but not right at bedtime. Also, smoking, that causes sleep disruption. There's thankfully not as much smoking here in California as there is around the rest of the country, but smoking can affect your sleep quality as well. Pets in the bed, we always ask about pets in the bed. We always ask about the bed partner. Does the bed partner snore? Maybe we need to see the bed partner. Many of the bed partners have moved and are in different rooms because of such things. So the room should be cool. It should be dark. If you feel like you need to, you can't sleep, you should get up and leave the room and maybe sit in the kitchen or dining room for a while. And when you're sleepy, go back to sleep.
Mhm. So best if you're facing some of these challenges, best thing to do is get a consultation from a nurse or doctor.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Before you spend money on a test, the tests are useful, particularly if one suspects sleep apnea as a cause, or limb movements as a cause, because it can wake you up, or other medical issue. I mean, the gold standard is an in-facility sleep study, and we learned so much from it, but the insurance companies actively discourage it. Interestingly, Medicare patients we can usually get in without any problem, and we learned so much.
Okay, well, great. Well, it sounds like we've got a lot of things that people can do right now just from this conversation that might be able to help. And then if we see continuing problems, that's a time to get a consultation, right?
Right.
Right. Well, Dr. Tamlin, Providence Mission Hospital, thank you so much for joining us today. Some great information.
Glad. Thanks for inviting me. I hope everyone does learn something from this.
We will. Thanks a lot. You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.
Achieve a level of comfort you've never known before. The Daydreamer will take you through smooth movements and guide you effortlessly into your favorite positions. Adjust the power pillow for ideal support for your head and neck. This and our positioning technology allows for infinite relaxation. Lay back in zero gravity while watching TV and put your body and mind at ease. Lift your spirits and find your favorite daydream. Contact your local Golden retailer today.
Hey, we're out in front of the set today because we have some great demos that we're going to do. Adapt to It is here, and Leslie Gibola is also joining us.
Thank you.
Owner-operator. And let's get into what you guys do at Adapt to It. This is not just exclusive to this, but you serve this community for quite some time,
We
right?
have. And we celebrated our 21st anniversary, July 2nd. And so happy to be in this community. It's been amazing. We have met some of the most beautiful people, had really special moments in the store. We specialize in taking care of people, so whatever that means. We strive to make their lives more independent, easier, more fulfilling by providing equipment that helps them do their daily tasks, whether that be a wheelchair, a walker, a cane, caring for a wound, a lift chair to help them get up safely, bathroom equipment to prevent falls and trips. We do home assessments for that reason, to make their home safe.
Okay.
Kind of run the gamut. We also have a referral list that we provide for services that are of our partners that we feel comfortable with. So people can come in
And
for
I think
care.
that's one of the most important things for a person as they age, is to not lose that independence. And through some of the tools and equipment and the services you provide, that can really extend that independent living for quite some time, right?
Exactly. Nobody wants to feel dependent on people. And I think we all really have this innate ability and desire to do things for ourselves. So it just takes sometimes the right tools.
And here's one of the tools. Let's talk about
Yes.
this wheelchair we have in front of us.
Okay, so this wheelchair is a special wheelchair. Everybody comes in saying, I want a lightweight wheelchair. Well, we are really good at finding stuff, and we found this wheelchair. It's called a Featherlight, and it is super lightweight, and the wheels actually come off, so you can save 6 pounds there. It folds down in the back.
Okay.
So when you fold it up, it becomes small and compact to fit in a very small car.
Oh, wow.
The footrests come off, the wheels come off, so basically you just have the frame that you can put in your car if you have a smaller car or if you need the less weight, and goes under a table. And one of the things that's really important with a wheelchair is that sometimes the reason why somebody's in a wheelchair is because they can't transfer.
Okay.
And so it's hard for them to go from place to place. And so the benefit of this one in particular, besides being so lightweight, is that it has these arms that are curved that go under a table.
Oh,
and so
okay,
they could
great,
just be pushed under a table, and versus an arm that's longer and they have to sit far away from the table
Right.
and kind of reach and try to grab their food and
That's
things.
got some great ergonomics designed into that. Now,
Exactly.
sometimes lighter can mean cheaper in terms of manufacturing and the materials used. I'm guessing that's not the case here.
That's not the case because lighter these days means either T6061 aluminum, which is an aircraft grade aluminum, super
Okay.
strong, super lightweight, or carbon.
Perfect.
And so we do have carbon walkers, we have carbon wheelchairs, and carbon canes actually. So you can get really, really strong, lightweight things these days.
That's fantastic. And now we're going to talk a little bit about this walker. This is a typical walker you see, wheels in front and that kind of thing, right?
Yes. Okay. So the walker. So this is, and wherever possible, I love color because color makes you feel good. And if you can use something that's your favorite color, you're going to be more likely to use it and more likely to feel good about having to use it. So this one's blue. We also have pink. And it does have the wheels in the front, which are necessary.
Right.
And then it has the little stoppers on the back, the rubber ones. And
Now,
a
this
lot
is
of
what we
people
typically see, right? With
put
the tennis
these
balls.
on, tennis balls. Okay. So these are not good. These are not what we want to see on a walker. And this is why. This is what happens. They break through, they wear out like in a day. And then when this happens, what is showing on the bottom of the walker is metal. And so if you think about it, you're scraping your walker, and if they never wear evenly, and so your walker becomes cattywampus, and then your body becomes that way, and then you have pain, and then it's just kind of a snowball effect of badness. So what we do is we put skis on the back, and they look like literal skis, tips toward the front, and you slip them on, and then you can slide your walker without a problem.
Okay. And now, is this kind of new to the market? Have these been around for a little while?
These have been around for a really long time.
Okay.
But nobody, well, not nobody, but people don't know about them because the tennis balls are so widely used.
Right.
So when somebody rolls into our store with tennis balls, we take them off and give them skis because they're just so much better.
Now, what's the best way to set these up and adjust these for someone's height? If someone, my elbows be bent, straight ahead.
So this one is low for me. It should be about mid-hip, so right where your hip bone is.
Okay.
And they're super easy to adjust. You just push the button in and then move the legs up or down. And then the reason why, again, is ergonomics. So you have to be really thinking of your ergonomics. And if they're too high, all it does is put your shoulders next to your ears and, again, create back pain. So if it's properly adjusted and you walk inside of it, then you're going to be able to be in an upright posture and have everything working correctly.
Okay. And those sliders, how long do they last? I mean, we know tennis balls don't, but how long will a slider typically last for most of your customers?
Really depends. Some people use their walker only inside. They're going to last longer. If you use it outside, less long. And it just depends. If you're walking over gravel, it's going to wear out more quickly. But when this part wears out, you still have the benefit of having the rubber on there.
Okay.
So you're not going to wear your walker out.
Okay.
And you can replace these super easy.
Okay, pretty easy, easy on, easy off. Maybe buy a couple of them,
Exactly.
a set or whatever that might be. How important is it to maintain these? Is there maintenance behind a walker and the wheelchair as well? Is this something that you should be doing every 6 months, every year?
No, not really. If you have these, this one particularly has brakes on the back. And so if you're going to use it a lot, and if you're using the brakes a lot, just from wear and use, you might need to replace or tighten the brakes. And that's basically the only maintenance with the wheelchair besides keeping it generally clean. The walker really has no maintenance. And just taking care of it, not running it over, putting it in the car gently, things like that.
When someone comes into your store, they say, I need a walker. Is that where it ends, or do you guys try to maybe do maybe a bigger assessment of some of their needs, like you said, home checks and things like that?
Exactly.
What else can happen if I walk into adapt to it?
So if somebody comes in saying, I want a walker, first of all, we're kind of try to find out if they want a regular walker like this one, or if they're needing one with a seat and brakes, because we have those as well. And a lot of times it just really depends on their needs. So yes, we look at the person, we look at their gait. Sometimes they'll want a walker with a seat and brakes, but it'll move too fast. And so sometimes what I've suggested is putting a bit of weight in the little basket thing there, or sometimes switching over to one of these that doesn't move quite as fast. And sometimes if they come in, a lot of times people are really hesitant to move maybe from a cane to a walker. So if they're coming in insisting on a cane and they're wobbly or just not as steady as they should be, a lot of times I'll suggest, let's just try a walker. And then they walk in it, they feel confident, they can go farther, and then we'll get the walker for them.
And when it comes to the wheelchair, is it also about maybe the person who's going to be doing the assisting too, in terms of what their needs might be?
Sometimes, yes. Mostly wheelchairs are because the person cannot walk, cannot transfer. They have issues that are kind of bigger than the person pushing them. But there are conveniences. So this wheelchair, like I said, has the brakes on the back. And we have several wheelchairs that do. And this is a great feature for anybody that's pushing it. And we have them push each other around so they can make sure that they're comfortable with it and they can do it. The lighter the wheelchair, the easier it's going to be for them for the helper to push. And then we have this one that is a manual wheelchair that the person can push themselves or be pushed in.
Okay, so any of Adapt Do It products, we can find them on the website?
Our website, www.adapttoit.com. And we
And
don't
also come into the
purchase.
store as well.
Come into the
Really
store.
easy. You're located pretty close by.
We're on Valencia and El Toro,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have another one across from Hoag Hospital in Newport Beach.
Terrific. Well, Leslie Gabola, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. You're watching This Day on Village Television.
Hi there, it's Bob Eubanks. You probably know me from the Newlywed Game, but what you may not know is I'm the only living person to have produced a Beatles show all 3 years they toured America. I've put together a great show called Backstage with the Beatles. I tell seldom or never before heard stories that lead up to music with a Beatle band on stage with me, Ticket to Ride. We're going to be here, Laguna Woods, in the Pack, September 23rd at 7 p.m.
Welcome back to This Day. Let's talk about the Saturday movie. This one's a fun one. I remember when it first came out, when I first saw it many, many years ago. It's Dave, and it stars Sigourney Weaver and Kevin Kline, and it's about a president who passes away, and they get this look-alike guy to come in. It's the Dave character there, and he becomes president. And it's a little bit madcap. It's a little bit funny. It's a little bit strange. It also has some politics in there, and it's kind of fun. It's going to be provided to us by Pacific Financial Planners, and that's at 2 p.m. with subtitles and 6 p.m. without subtitles. Staying on the theme of movies as we go to announcement, we have the summer movie series that's coming up, and that's going to be July 23rd, starting tomorrow, all the way through the 30th, and August 6th and the 13th. So you can get out there, enjoy some movies. It's going to be at Clubhouse 5, 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., and you go out there and see some great movies. So enjoy yourself. Another one we want to tell you about is the California Club. They have the Sounds of Summer, and that should be a fun event for anybody who enjoys what they're doing over at the California Club. They have an open bar. There's going to be dance. There's going to be music. The Larry Fresque Trio is going to be performing, and you do need to reserve your seating. It's a 4-course dinner. It is going to be fun, and it's sponsored by the California Club, LagunaWoodsVillage.com if you want some more information. Members, $35. Non-members is $43. Another one we have coming up is we have some auditions for the Theater Guild. They are looking for folks to come out there and audition for a performance they have coming up July 26th from 1 to 4. And the show date is going to be September 21st. You have plenty of time to rehearse and do all of that. Contact Sandy O'Connor at her email there, or Barbara Powell at her email, and you can find out a little bit more information about how you can do that, how you can audition. Hey, let's take a look outside as we recap our weather real quick. It is a warm one, and we're going to enjoy the weekend. I hope so, because it's going to get even hotter on Monday, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be 82, 83. It gets real hot as we start going into Monday, Tuesday, so that's when we're going to want to kind of shut in for a little while, maybe turn on the air conditioning. Well, that's it for this edition of This Day. I'm Michael Taylor. For all of us here at Laguna Woods Television, thanks for watching.